Hey everyone, how's it going? I thought we might have a quick chat about post-viral fatigue, and because obviously there's a lot of people who have been either asymptomatic or mild cases who are now really suffering that fatigue afterwards. And I think from a medical perspective, potentially people might just end up getting secondary infections and things if the immune system's a little bit low. Potentially, if the energy just doesn't pick up, especially women might just end up being whacked onto antidepressants and stuff like that, which of course isn't going to help with the post-viral fatigue. So the viral particles can get stuck in the body sometimes. So one of the things that I tend to do is a bit of a cleanse. But not initially, except for something like glutathione. So glutathione is a nutrient, and if we have low glutathione, then the liver doesn't function as well as it should. So if we've been on painkillers, there's a lot of drugs that it can actually halt that glutathione pathway. In Australia, when we're doing blood tests, it's the GGT levels in the blood work. So basically keeping an eye on those, and really high GGT means low glutathione. So basically glutathione is one of those things that there's lots of different forms, and you just have to get it from a reputable place, because there are dodgy glutathiones out there that won't do a darn thing. So I tend to use either the liposomal versions or the powdered versions from really good companies. So that's sort of my preference. N-acetylcysteine. So N-acetylcysteine is a precursor to glutathione, and basically NAC is something that helps to break down mucus. So if we've got the residue of an infection and still have lots of mucus, then I would go straight to NOC as opposed to glutathione. Glutathione for that bone exhaustion that we get when we've had to take painkillers and antibiotics and stuff like that. Whereas the NAC, if we've got the residual the mucus and that congestion and the dry cough, because what can happen is a little the cilia in the lungs can be all laid down with mucus. So we need to break up that mucus so the cilia can work and get that cilia pump happening again to bring the mucus up off the lungs. So NAC, glutathione, they're both really good for liver pathways. NAC is also a really good antioxidant. Glutathione's good for all sorts of things anyway. They're ideas. Obviously, if you've got the weakened lung tissue afterwards, I'm sure everyone on the planet is talking about vitamins D and A at the moment for the lungs. So they just help to heal the gut, heal the lung lining, but they also help to heal the gut as well. So A and D are both important in the gut for that elasticity that happens between the cells of the gut. So basically, if that elasticity starts to wear out, then you're going to end up with gut issues. So you'll end up with more allergies, more intolerances, and we've got to get those essential fatty acids back in the gut. So once again, lots of antibiotics can weaken the gut lining. So that's a nice thing to get in there. Just sort of do a month of vitamin A and D and see how the gut and the lungs are feeling. Increased doses, you can have quite a bit of both of them, but basically, you can really whack into those short term to really get your levels high. In Australia, we consider it a vitamin D deficiency if we've got less than 50 nanomoles in the blood. So basically, but people with autoimmunity, we really want levels to be up over 100 to see them, safely looking after their immune system with vitamin D. Vitamin A is not checked as often, certainly here in Australia. So that's vitamins D and A. Anti-inflammatory. So one of the things that can happen with post-viral stuff is the chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia. They're both linked with NARCI viruses, which obviously this one is. So when you get a nasty virus and you set off that cytokine storm, and if the body doesn't have the ability to release those inflammatory cytokines, then basically we end up being in a bit of a world of pain. So it just doesn't go away very easily. So with the fibromyalgia, one of the things that I like is a really good quality magnesium, sort of a magnesium biglycinate or doglycinate, something like that. Sorry, motorbikes just come into the driveway. And you can take quite a bit of that, say 3, 4, 5 grams per day, if that's what your body requires. and with your so magnesium, really important. But also with fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome, sometimes we can end up with SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and they're involved in, between 80 and 100% of people with chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia. And I think part of it is because when we've been sick a fair bit and we keep getting like bacterial infections and stuff, we end up with this small intestinal bacterial overload that really shouldn't be in the small intestine. So got to get that under control. So, and that's, that real bloating after eating, even if you have a glass of water, just feeling bloated and yuck. So SIBO, check that out, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And there's a specific diet that you can do for that, which is called low FODMAP. So the low FODMAP diet supports better intestinal bacteria. So, and if you cut out the big things that are high in FODMAPs, that can allow your small intestinal bacteria to improve faster. So that's sort of, and the other thing with chronic fatigue is that if your mitochondria is jammed, there are also really good supplements out there for mitochondria. So here in Australia, once again, we've got things like MitoActivate and all sorts of mitochondria. Resveratrol is really good for the mitochondria, as are green tea extracts. And once again, the big doses of vitamin C, say 3 to 8 grams per day, to really just start helping to cleanse out the blood and the lymph and the fat tissue, because vitamin C is both a fat soluble and water soluble vitamin. So it sort of helps to cleanse both and of course it helps to boost immunity and helps boost lymphocytes in the body, and lymphocytes are predominantly antiviral. So, there's a few things that I've been thinking, and antioxidants, so a combination. In Australia, once again, we've got lots of good combinations of antioxidants with stuff like your A and D and C and zinc, all rolled into one, often with resveratrol as well. So if you can get something that's got a nice little combination of them, and what that does is helps to stop up the free radical damage. So when COVID creates a cytokine storm, that inflammation, the free radical damage, it can get stuck in the tissue, so then we can be in pain and be exhausted. So antioxidants help to sop up those toxins. Anyway, just a few thoughts. Okay, have a good day. Bye.